what we're doing or what we're capable of. So now it's up to us to show them this is what we have, this is what we can bring to the table. What do you think? And as well as making it where they're also engaging with us. Okay, again, that opportunity with John and the Breonna Taylor thing, that's a perfect example where, okay, throw that shit in the comment section.
Yeah, what's your opinion on it?
And then other heads are seeing that as well. Well, John is tripping because this is what happened. He has a license to carry and he shouldn't have to go through all that. Somebody else pick up on it. Well, I heard that this, that, and the other was happening. So, I heard that he was doing that because he was fearful of her drug dealer boyfriend that he was messing with before. He tried to, I guess, have something sent to her crib.
Like a bomb?
No, not a bomb, but a package.
Like a bomb.
Which is why she was on the radar, because the ex-boyfriend, he wanted to send a package to the crib or whatever, and she, we're done. So the boyfriend, the current boyfriend, knowing what's up with him, he was ready. He was ready. So then, what is it, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you got heads pounding on the door, and it was what is it, what type of warrant was it? A no-knock warrant. It was a no-knock warrant. So that's why he was licking shots at them, because he thought it was the boyfriend. He didn't know it was the cops. He thought it was the boyfriend. So he shouldn't have been locked up to begin with. But the bigger controversy with that was one of the detectives was just shooting blindly in the apartment.
Isn't that how she got hit?
That's how she got, coincidentally, 8 times. But nothing happened to the boyfriend. The boyfriend was straight. And the bullets was going through to the neighbor's apartment. So they getting on him for that, and they lied on their report.
Which is not surprising. They always lie.
I gotta get
look a certain way so that they stay out of, trouble.
But the worst thing about that too is that they got the protection of the union.
Of course.
The union protects these heads. Like, yo, don't say nothing, my man. Robanowitz is about to come through. He got you. You follow the script that he tells you. You're gonna get off paid administrative leave. You'll be back on the job within 3 months. There's no checks and accountability.
And they're used to society forgetting stuff like this, even though, thank God, we've kept it alive. But they're used to us forgetting, this happened this week, next week. We forget about it, and that's how they get off.
Or they'll be like, oh, yo, Meg Thee Stallion got shot in the foot. Let's talk about
I was about to say that. I feel like
that is a little something.
What about
down?
What about all the killings in Chicago? Let's talk about that. Kanye West is running for president. Let's talk about that. Like, she got killed in her home and she was an EMT worker.
Right? Like, come on.
Let's talk about these cops being held accountable for that.
We don't have to start.
Let's talk about the bad warrant because the person that they were looking for was already in custody. Why didn't the judge double check and triple check? And these no-knock warrants, why do we need no-knock warrants? And why did Homeboy get arrested when he was defending his property? If it was a white person, they would have been ready to give him a fucking medal for defending his property. Because at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, somebody come bum rushing your crib. I'm asking questions after I let off a couple rounds.
And whatever cop got hit, if it was a white guy, the cop would have just been a goner, and it would have just been what it is. Like you said, he's a hero now.
The brother shouldn't have never got locked up because he was protecting him and his. And especially him being licensed to carry, he shouldn't have never got locked up. It's like, yo, you're serving a no-knock warrant. Yo, you got to be ready for the repercussions that come with that. Now, he did what he was supposed to do on his end for the fact that he's licensed to carry. And the situation y'all put that man in, he shouldn't have even got locked up. Like, you know what, my BO. No, we'll run the bitch, he'll be alright. This is just a flesh wound. He'll be alright. But my BO.
My fault. I mean,
but he did a couple of days locked up over that bullshit, yo. And
they were trying to charge him too, like.
Yeah.
Come on, dog.
It's like, why? Why you try some no-knock warrant? So how is he supposed to know y'all have a no-knock warrant?
What the hell?
Didn't they cop that like lie about it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They lied about it.
Yeah.
Especially the one that was licking off Matt, the one that was hitting her. He was shooting blindly into the crib, but they lied about it on their report.
So what did they put on the report?
They was probably saying I think they said something about they announced themselves.
Yeah, they said announce themselves.
So you don't have to announce yourself if it's not a warrant, though, right?
Right.
But my thing is, if he said that shit on a police report, then automatically they just should have known that he wasn't being honest. It goes, like I said, it goes along the lines of when you remember when the little 5-year-old girl that got murdered by the SWAT team that they did no knock warrant.
And they never got
They never got charged.
No, they got charged, but I don't think nothing happened.
No, the girl basically they threw a gas grenade inside the house, a stun grenade. She got hit with that. Then they shot her in her head and killed her. Yeah, and killed her.
Is that the girl that lived with the grandma?
Yeah. That I saw it. I watched that trial.
That was so sad, man.
Man, listen, it was really bad.
Meanwhile, you got the guy that just recently killed that little 5-year-old boy, the white boy.
Yeah.
And it was really sad. Don't get me wrong, but you know, like
they got him like in 24 hours.
And that's the point. And that's like a lot of people, I guess, were trying to make a big stink about the fact that it was a black guy that killed a white boy, and that has nothing to do with it. You know, what about Breonna Taylor? What about George Floyd? You know, all these people that don't get justice. The boy got justice, and you know, I feel bad for him, but he got justice. Like,
it's all about accountability, and again, within 24 hours they caught that dude.
So there's no need for a protest, you know, and a big stink about it. Like
George Floyd, it took them 4 days before they fired the officers, and then another couple of weeks before they were charges pressed against them. Arbery, I'm sorry, I forget the brother's name, but you know, brought to you by Bacardi 4. My man Arbery in Georgia.
Ahmaud Arbery.
You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that it?
Ahmaud Arbery, thank you. He got murdered in February. Tropicana. Get that vitamin C. But he got murdered in February, but the video of him being murdered came out in when, May?
And it took for social media to carry.
And it took even then it took a minute for them to even get charges pressed against them. And
they were
then
following him like.
And because of social media, all of that became exposed as far as to their relationship with the law enforcement in Georgia. One of them was a sheriff, and he also worked for the DA. They had to recluse himself because of blah blah blah. So they're at home, life goes on, and that man's family is mourning his death on some bullshit. On some bullshit. So
you on Facebook taking trips with their family, and you know, I guess everybody deserves to be happy, but you, sir, you need to come answer some questions.
I hate to say this.
Go to jail. We're gonna get your ass back here.
I hate to say this, but given its history and it sucks, and I do feel for them.
Here we go, Sean.
Again, by any means, I'm not trying to say anything to commit violence against cops, but there will be a time when people will be like, you know what, fuck it, and. It'll be
time is probably already here.
It'll be
because they're going off in Portland.
Yeah, it'll be all out of fun on cops.
It's been for a while.
My friend, her son is on the front lines in Portland, and there's a page on Facebook. I gotta look it up, where they're wilding the fuck out in Portland right now, where they got government agents going in and just hemming heads up.
Yeah,
and this is all something that's been built up. It goes back to that Rodney King verdict.
Oh Lord.
And Ice Cube called it. Ice Cube was like, yo, LA's about to blow up. It all goes back to that and the same type of circumstances as far as to back then it was on VHS, not one of these joints, Samsung, you know, as Galaxy 8 Plus. I know it's kind of behind the times, but you know what I'm saying. But it goes back to when it was on VHS. And Rodney King was getting his ass beat for driving a Hyundai. He got his ass beat for driving a Hyundai. So Heads was like, yeah, we got him, finally got him. Verdict came, not guilty.
Like, bro,
the fuck?
Yeah.
Wait, but he's getting his ass beat and
on camera.
They all got off.
Like,
the riots was fucked up because a lot of innocent people and store owners or what have you, family businesses got fucked over that. But at the same time, Q predicted that shit. It's like it was in a pressure cooker, building up because of how LAPD is like the grimiest police force on the planet.
But that's how society is, though. Like in our community, though, it's like we go through these things all the time, and then you have riots. It happened here.
It's cliche.
It's just like you
Back in
said.
the 70s.
Yeah, it's always
Back in the 70s.
60s, and it's always like that. Just that moment in time, just when it happens. What happens after that? You know what I mean? And you know, when we was talking about that at my job, and I was like, you know, the thing I don't like about our culture is we're reactive to a lot of things that happen. We're never proactive. We're just reactive to a lot of things. And then like we just live for that moment.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it was dope to see all the young brothers and sisters and you know out there, you know, protesting. That was dope.
It was.
But for me, it was like, all right.
Well,
And I was even saying it. I was just like, so I give you guys about like, you know, 2 to 3 weeks. What's gonna happen after that?
I feel like you said that too, yeah.
You remember like, you know, you know, cause I live in the area, but you know, remember, you know, like the Grove Hall area and those joints was like filled with like protests, you know, for about like, you know, a week or so.
That was clear.
They broke into the dispensary, sons of bitches.
We just rolled by a little,
Why, sons of
coming
bitches?
here, we just rolled by a little
Showing
peaceful,
up dead.
you know,
The protest, you're right.
Yeah.
Blue
Not to
Lives
say-
Matter
Not
and
to
Black
say- not
Lives
to say that
Matter.
wasn't peaceful, because
Yeah.
you know it was peaceful
It was
around my
peaceful.
area,
Head to
but
toe
it was
north
about
side
like
on
10
Galvin
people
Boulevard.
out there, right?
Galvin Boulevard.
And
Galvin
how
Boulevard.
many black people you see out there?
There was mad white people out there.
And it makes
One,
me
it
very
was
Even with the Black Lives, even with the Black
It
Lives
was
Matter
just that
one.
one girl
There
that
was
you
one
commented
girl,
on,
yep.
right?
I noticed that.
Then when we got up towards the McDonald's, you seen the same thing.
Just
And
white
I'm just
people.
like, wow, like, you know, our culture, you know, is just like,
We are our
we
own worst
just,
enemies.
you know,
We
don't-
are. And it's
We don't think
sad.
about, we just live for the moment. We don't
Yeah.
think about the future sometimes, man. And I'm not saying like we're not doing it, but it's just like
Not enough.
when we have that platform to do it, we don't keep it up. And I think that's what hurts us.
We are our own worst enemies, though.
And right now, I kind of feel like in 2020, Gen X, you know, the younger 1999 and 2000 babies, they have a lot of strength and they have a lot of willpower to do a lot of things, but they don't have any structure. Like, they're willing to tote the line. I've seen some kids, you know, over the pandemic with the riots and stuff. Yeah, I seen some kids out there that was like, let's go. But if you don't have any guidance for somebody to be like, okay, we've done the protest, we did what we need to do for today, let's go back home, let's retreat. They don't have the
Yeah.
structure.
But they're
so,
lost too, yo, because they don't have the knowledge of like when I was growing up. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when I was growing up with people who were in the struggle. You know what I mean? Like people that were like a part of those 60s stuff and they lived that stuff. You know what I mean? So that stuff was like embedded in me when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But you know, during like late 80s and the 90s, people were just like doing their own thing. They weren't focused on those type of things because at that time that wasn't big.
yeah.
Not to say it wasn't happening, it just
It
wasn't
wasn't
the
big, you're right.
focus.
Social
you know
media
what I mean?
pushed that and shoved it
Yeah.
kind of to your face. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not
It wasn't
seeing it,
the
you're gonna
focus.
see it today. Even if it's not, if it's on CNN, you'll see it there. If it's on
Yeah.
internet, you're gonna see it. Either way.
Searching for leaders. They're searching
Yeah.
for someone to help them out.
And
like,
like piggyback on what
Yeah,
you're
go ahead.
saying, I've said this a while ago. The real leaders of our community, there's been a vacuum in it because with Martin Luther King and with Malcolm X, especially with Malcolm X, he was on some old, he brought our plight to what's happening to the, what they call back then, American Negroes. He brought what was going on with us in our community to a world level platform where he's over in Africa with the Pan Americans and leaders of nations talking about what's happening to the lost tribe of Africa in America. He brought that shit to a fucking worldwide attention with the struggles with civil rights, Jim Crow, slavery, this, that, and the other. But then when he got assassinated, it died right there because honestly, who picked up the torch and carried that to represent what we are going through? Who did that? Not Jesse Jackson. Because in all honesty, Jesse Jackson was one of the people that was criticizing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because they was in different like groups. Jesse
Right.
was with Martin Luther King.
But even after when Malcolm went to Mecca and he saw what the Muslim faith was really about.
The only, and I don't mean to cut you off, Rick, but the only thing I have an issue with that was, because I read the book with Malcolm X, I love Malcolm X. The only thing I have an issue with Malcolm X was he only did that after his people turned against him.
Right, that's what I. But that's what I was. That's why I was going with that. That's why I was going with that.
His people, I mean,
that's why I was going with the Nation of Islam and Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah. So if he was never that outspoken person where he was on the platform and they was jealous of him or what have you,
because of the power and influence he's having.
And that was always a question in my mind, like, damn, you know, Malcolm was a brilliant brother.
I would love to ask him that.
Yeah.
And I was going down that same road because when he made that trip to Mecca and he saw what the real Muslim faith was about, where it was inclusive to white man, yellow man, brown man, blue man, pink man, or whatever, that really opened his eyes. Where he was coming back to America and was like, yo, this is the real Islam. Because at first, in that fucking Spike Lee movie that he did, with Denzel being Malcolm, that shit was so fucking incredible. Where at first there was this white chick. I didn't have Malcolm X.
I'm looking at Rick like, yeah, I'm gonna go back. Like,
right? Malcolm X. But on some real shit though. In the movie, he did when he was down with the Nation of Islam, it was under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. A white person came up to him, was like, yo, I'm down, I feel your plight, how can I help you?
I remember that.
And he was like, you can't.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Straight cut her off. But then when he did his trip to Mecca and came back, was like, yo, you can help me. You're white, but you can still help me. You're brown.
Black Muslims are still like that.
He's like, you could help me. You know what I'm saying? And he was more inclusive with getting the help instead of just being selective with getting the help. And you put me onto that fucking Netflix documentary, Who Killed Malcolm X.
Oh my gosh, it's so
you
good.
peeped that?
I watched that.
His own people and the person that killed him was like 10 miles up the road in Jersey that killed him, yo.
He was in a campaign ad, mind you, with Homeboy.
And that's how they found him.
Yeah.
And even still, after he got blasted, the dude that was doing CPR, he was working for the fucking New York police department trying to bring him down. But he was catching on to what Malcolm was saying. It's like, yo, I gotta save this brother, yo. It is
crazy what Black Union, because of Voice trying to, unite black people, what Black Union can really do. People be wanting to kill, murder, rob, steal. Like, it's amazing because white people do stuff and they come up, they make money, they make wealth, but nobody wants to murder these kids. Nobody wants to murder these people. Like,
they look out for each other.
Yeah.
Our own community, we don't look out for each other. Our own community, if I'm seeing you coming up,
it's competition.
My jealousy and envy is going to do what I can to bring you down.
We did.
This is exactly what I said. Black folks are like crabs in the barrel.
Yeah.
I saw you post that away.
And I went to jail for it, by the way.
Go figure.
No story, right.
Yeah.
But it's
I'll ask you that later. I was
Yeah.
going to say, do you know who it was? But
It's
go ahead.
real. It's real. We don't have each other backs, and the same situation with that snitching policy or whatever. And talking about, oh, don't snitch because the streets don't give a fuck about you. Because if the streets gave a fuck about you, then you wouldn't have little Tiffany Moores getting blasted, chilling on a fucking mailbox, coming up south from down south to chill with her cousins. Situations like that would not be acceptable.
So, but see, it's different from like when when Rick and I was younger. Like that snitching stuff was real. You know what I mean? I don't know how it is now because I'm not in the streets. But when I was a kid, when I was younger, I was in the streets. So if you snitched on somebody, you gonna get it. Yeah. And that's 100.
Yes.
But
definitely 100.
Because
what are you snitching about?
Yeah, like
no,
well,
but it's like
if
you told, like if I seen something, and if I told, I'm gonna get it. I don't care what it's about. You know what I mean? Like
civilian.
I don't know. It's not really different now, but I feel like people, especially younger
and that's the problem.
And but what I'm trying to say is that's what the fear of the family was. People's family, they were being, they were feared of that type of stuff. Whether it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, if it's small, you know, obviously, you know, you don't think about that stuff. If you're talking about a killing, you know, somebody arrest, a little Ray or Junebug got arrested or whatever it is. But if you're involved in it and you tell, you gonna catch it. You know what I mean? And that's how it was.
Also on plea bargaining type shit.
That's how it was.
Or that Tekashi 6ix9ine shit. He was involved in it, but now he's talking around snitching on heads.
That's different nowadays. You didn't have brothers doing. You didn't have people, you know, heads from the hood doing no fed time and snitching on cats back then. You didn't have that.
But for him, it's
so
different from him because he was never really living that life. He was portraying that he was living that life.
Right, but the problem was
he didn't know the consequences.
Right, but
he knew. No,
right.
I'm sure he knew the consequences, but I don't think that he thought that his own people would like.
It's not the same.
Do that to him.
It's not
but
the same.
I mean,
but
it's not.
Think about this. Think about
The rules
this.
have changed. The rules have changed.
I've been in those streets and I've seen shit. I've never been part of a gang affiliation, but I know what time it was. Anytime when you involve yourself in gang activity, you should know what the consequences are. And unfortunately, the thing that gets me is how stupid these gang members are. Like, cause this dude worked for a fucking juvenile defenders program in New York before he actually became an actor. I mean, before he became a rapper, basically. Tekashi, yeah. And what happened was somebody seen him and seen that look. It was like, you know what? I can use you. That's what happened. And from that point on, he got affiliated with these Bloods in New York. And he basically started doing this thing, and that's what it was.
Yeah,
he did right. Right. That's what I'm saying.